Hello and welcome to Night Watch. I'm calling this Night Watch because it is well after 12 a.m. They say today is Friday. Welcome. This video is for those of you who find yourself restless at night. Restless. When you can't sleep at night, hey, what's going on? Is it something that I ate? All of these different questions. Well, really, a lot of people don't even ask questions. They just kind of struggle through it. But I want to remind you, when you don't get sleep, not only are you not operating at 100% because you have brain fog, you might actually not be able to remember things that are important because you were so exhausted and your brain never had a chance to shut down. When we sleep, when we rest, our brain is shutting down just like a computer. Like when you turn the computer off and you put it on sleep, it's it calms. Like if you touch the modem, you will find that it's hot. And if you could think about your mind, well, we can't really compare our minds to a computer. Our brain holds way more than a computer, but you get the idea, the metaphor. You have to let your mind rest because that's what's carrying the whole thing. That's where everything is, like in that mind, in that brain. So it's important that we allow our brains to relax so that it can reboot and be fresh for the next day. Not only is that an issue with not sleeping, but you can find yourself developing some illnesses if you don't get enough rest, like going days and weeks on end without getting enough sleep is just not good for you long term. And I don't hear it as much these days, but about 3 to 5 years ago, like it was a big thing, Team No Sleep, where so many influencers were talking about I'll sleep when I die. And if you're sleeping past 8 hours, or no, if you're sleeping past 5 hours, then something is wrong with you. You'll never make it. You won't see $1 million. Like you gotta get 3 to 5 hours of sleep, and the rest of that time you need to be producing content and working on that craft. And it's like, okay, we're all these people now, and all that Team No Sleep talk. Some of these folks, one in particular that I know was saying this, which is an influencer, it's a male. He came out recently talking about illnesses and being sick. And some of those things could have very well been linked to damaging the body like that. Like when you're young and in college, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's the life where you may be getting 5 hours of sleep because you're trying to study for exams and all of that. But you're not doing that for 5, 6, 7 years. You don't make it out of a habit. It's usually right around finals when everybody is binging and just trying to do that extreme studying, trying to get it all in. But doing that consistently over a long period of time is definitely going to have some adverse reactions. So just keep that in mind. If you happen to believe that Team No Sleep is the way to go, you need to go and talk to some people who are older than you, who have been down that road before, who have actually had some issues with that. Or you don't even go and talk to someone who's older. Talk to someone who's working maybe two jobs, or go and talk to a mom. Hey, here's one who may not get 8 hours of sleep because maybe the baby's waking up throughout the night and you've had a long day already. In my case, I have 5 kids. So the days are already long. And then when you get ready to lie down at night, you're already exhausted. And within 2 hours of being asleep, the baby's waking up crying. Now, thankfully, I trained my baby, ooh, I want to say less than 2 months after she was born. Her sleep was already in order because, look, it's my fifth rodeo. So I believe I'm pretty seasoned in that area. So I haven't really dealt with that you're not really getting much sleep. That was very short lived. Like I said, maybe 2 months, very short lived, but nightly I get my sleep. She may wake up and, want to nurse, but outside of that, she goes right back to sleep. But anyway, you guys get the drift. If you, anyway, let's just get into it. Restless. I wrote down a few points. Um, when you can't sleep at night, what's going on? So here are a few things. You could be restless due to burnout. You could be restless due to you're being tired. You're being tired of the same old routine. Like every day is literally the same. It's like, do you guys know that that can actually lead to dementia? Like when people retire and they no longer have new things to do, they are no longer challenged, they begin to get in the line, if you will, in this invisible line of heading down the road of dementia, Alzheimer's. This is actually scientific. This has been proven. There are many cases about this, studies that show this. Once a person is not really doing much and they are idle, that's another quote. Idle's mind is the devil's playground. Like when you don't have anything to do with your time and you're just sitting, 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 same old routine, same job, year after year, it's like, oh my God, like this is such a rut. Like I don't like this. That can lead to restlessness. I know I talked about dementia and all of that, but we can just kind of like scratch that, remember it, but it's more so being tired of the routine of doing the same thing. You don't have anything new going on in your life, and you're just tired of it. Um, I'm sure you guys have heard of a midlife crisis, and it's supposed to be like something that occurs like in 50s and 40, in between like 40 and 50, I believe. But some people experience it earlier, especially if you are more of an adventurous type person. You like to move and go as you please. You don't really like to be stuck in one place. Then you can really find yourself being tired, exhausted, and just disgusted with the same old routine. That can make you restless at night. The next one is didn't get too much done throughout the day. If you are a type of person who likes to make plans, set goals, and you went through the entire day, and now it's time for you to get some rest, and you can't because you feel unaccomplished. So your mind is still like, hey, I can't really shut down because it's still something that's important to me that I have to do. But now I can't do it because it's late at night, and these things are supposed to be done during business hours. So that's something that can lead to you being restless at night. Another one is too much on your mind. Now, that's a good one. It will be difficult for you to sleep at night when you have so much on your mind. That's self-explanatory. The next one is others other people's problems will have you restless at night. Are you guys familiar with the prayer of serenity where you're saying, what is it? Grant me pretty much knowing when you can change something, okay, being okay with that, and also being okay when it's something that you can't change, moving on with your life. This is where we come down to this, not being able to rest at night because other people's problems are fresh on your mind. Look, when you are trying to advise people, they have a choice. They can either take it or leave it. It is not your job to war with people trying to make them see what they can do to fix or repair their problems. Driving yourself nuts, always trying to pull someone out of the hole, pull someone out of trouble, or to prevent them from slipping through the cracks is only going to run you in the ground. We see this happening all the time. Sometimes the helper is the one that ends up needing help because they wear themselves thin overextending themselves for people who can care less. Don't get yourself in this predicament, and then when it's time for you to get rest at night, you can't because you're so worried and concerned about other people's problems. Let them handle their problems. You can only do so much. Which leads to the next point, worrying. Worrying about people, worrying about your own circumstance, worrying about money. If you're into watching the news, reading news articles, and if you're not doing that, you see all kind of stuff on social media. You can hear about on the radio all of these problems going on in the world, and that can make you help end it to an extent. All ruffled up on the inside, where you're feeling nervous and worried about tomorrow. Like, do I have enough money to make it if something happens? If there's another pandemic, do I have enough to sustain myself and sustain my family? You know, what happens if I lose a job? What happens if the opportunity is no longer mine? But look, worrying is not going to put you ahead of the game. There are people who stock up like crazy. But just because you're stocking up like crazy, you can still be unprepared for a storm. You might have enough tissue, might have enough water, but what happens if you don't have batteries, flashlights, candles, lighters? So something can always happen to you. You know, sometimes people can be so worried about dotting all of the I's, crossing all of the T's, and you still end up missing something. To my perfectionists, do I have any perfectionists out there? You can attempt to do everything right and still end up doing something wrong or forgetting something. That's something that can keep you up at night. Worry. If you're watching outside the room or jumping in, I'm talking about when you can't sleep. What's going on when you can't sleep at night? Restless. Another thing that can make you restless at night is something that's funny, but it's true. Late night snacking, late night eating. Okay, if you are indulging in these high fats, sugary snacks, super salty, caffeinated, get ready to be up. Now, some people are soldiers. They can drink their tea black, you know, but they can drink a Red Bull and go to sleep. It's like these things don't even affect them. But is that really a good thing that you have given that stuff to your body so much and so long that you're not even affected by what is actually supposed to affect your body? Like, that's crazy. And that's a problem. But late night snacking can have you up late at night. You may say, you know, every time I go to the room at night, I'm so sleepy, I'm so exhausted. But you know, I have a tradition where I'll eat myself a candy bar, or I eat a trial size bag of chips, or I drink me a nice cold soda before I go to sleep. Like, that's my tradition. I just love doing it. It's my happy place. That's just something that I have to do. But after I eat it and drink it, now I can't sleep. Okay, so then you know what the situation is. You just said before you had that snack or that drink, you were exhausted, you were sleepy. But after you consumed it, now you're jittery. That can make you restless. And so don't go thinking that something is wrong with you. Um, it's the late night snacks, the late night eating. If it's nothing else going on besides that, then it could be the late night snacking. The next thing is spiritual depletion. And these are just a few that I wrote down. I can definitely give you more. Spiritual depletion. Now, this, without realizing it, your soul can be exhausted. But if you are not accustomed to filling your spirit and putting inspiration, quality information inside your mind, then you may think that this is unnecessary. But as we continue to wake up, grow and develop, more is necessary to keep us going. Now, I assume that most of you who are watching are adults. You have to know that your spirit is what's driving you. Now, earlier I talked about the mind and, the mind being tired and having too much on your mind and needing to get that rest. But spiritual depletion actually goes deeper than that because your subconscious is in that area. Your deep thoughts, the innermost feelings, in the way that you move, your motive, all of that is in that spirit, like your soul, like it's connected. And if you're not feeding your spirit, again, with the right information, having the right people around you in company, different things that you are associated with, if those things are not positive and uplifting you, you may find that you are restless at night. Your soul is crying out for something more. Your soul is crying out to be fed. You're going all day, you're feeding your body, okay? You're getting the nutrients and the hydration you need from water, foods, okay? But what are you doing to fill that spiritual tank? On your way to work, do you listen to a podcast that's inspirational, that's ministering to the deep portion of you that needs a boost, that needs to be encouraged? Because, see, we can walk around with a smile on our face. We can accomplish many things, especially my leaders out there, my entrepreneurs. You're always moving on to the next thing, always accomplishing, having a lot of success. But then at night, you can't sleep. What are you doing to fill your spirit? Scrolling on social media, playing different games before you go to bed, that may be your tradition. But is that refueling you? Think about your vehicle. Whenever that needle is headed towards E, you take it to the fuel station and you put that gas in your car, your truck. After you fill it up, you're able to go where you need to go. Think of your spirit as the same. Are you walking around on empty? Yeah, you had that hamburger. Yeah, you ate that steak. But we're talking about your spirit. Spiritual depletion is one of the main reasons why people are restless at night. Your soul is crying out for peace. Your soul is crying out for help. Your soul is crying out to be fed with the things that you really need. Some people think they need a lot of friends. You need a lot of money, companionship. You need to have the best vehicle to drive. You need to be able to make an impression to your boss and the people on your job. Your colleagues are coming to town. You're getting ready to see your frat brothers, your sorors. So you got to make that impression. But deep on the inside, you are spiritually depleted. You're not even sleeping at night, but you're out hanging out with the sorors like everything is okay. How long will you put up that facade? How long will you drag yourself through that? Because if you can attempt to love others and give others advice, why aren't you doing it for yourself? For this reason, you are restless at night and unable to sleep. I love talking about the spiritual aspect of life. I could do a full hour or more on just the things of the spirit. But let's just go ahead and move on. So, what can you do when you are restless? We've already named some things. I'm going to go back over those. Burnout, tired of the routine, you didn't get much done, too much on your mind, other people's problems, worrying, late eating, and spiritual depletion are reasons why you may find yourself restless at night, unable to sleep, getting 1 to maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep at night. You're constantly up through the night, going back and forth to the bathroom, waking up frantic, don't know whether you're coming or going. You're freaking out. You feel fearful. Feels like maybe it's something like someone's watching you, or something's around you. Like, what's going on? Some people actually have night terror, you know, dreading going to sleep at night. But what can be done? What can be done when a person finds themselves restless at night? And again, these are just a few things. These are just a few. I can give you more. But start with analyzing your day, analyzing your life. Think about and ask yourself, what did I do today that was good? What did I do today that was good, that was commendable? How did I show up today that was actually good, where I satisfied myself? The next question is, what rubbed you wrong? Did something occur today at work, wherever you volunteer or however you spend your time? Did something happen today that rubbed you the wrong way, that totally threw you off, and now you can't sleep tonight? Maybe you had it out with somebody at work and now you are actually nervous about work tomorrow, about seeing this person's face. The elephant in the room, how would that be addressed tomorrow? Is that why you're restless? The third, did you follow a routine today, or were you prone to distractions? Are you restless because you followed a routine, which is what we talked about in the top area? Because remember, we're talking about analyzing the day. Am I like this because I followed that routine today and I just can't do it anymore? And my soul is crying out for something different, but I don't quite know what to do. So I'm restless. I don't even really know what to think, where to start with my thought process. Just restless. Were you prone to distractions today? Every time that cell phone rang, notification popped in, text message came through, were you apt to hurry up and check it, to answer that call? Spending all this time on the phone listening to somebody drag on, rag on about their problems, about their issues, when really the ball is in their court. Remember what I said earlier? Everyone has a choice to make. We all have a deck of cards in our hands, and we get to choose how we play those cards. But sometimes we allow people to throw their deck of cards in our hand. No, no, ma'am. No, sir. There's only enough time in a day, unless you are led differently, to take care of the necessities and the top priority. I'm going to say it again. Unless you are led or so moved to be distracted and go another way outside of your normal schedule, then you need to stick with your routine as far as letting the distractions pass. Because when you let too many distractions in, now you have lost focus. You had a couple of things on your mind that needed to be done, but because you took that phone call, now you're thrown off. Okay? Now you can't focus on the meeting that you have to give to the team at work because someone texted you and said, I have to tell you what just happened to me. I just got fired from my job. This person just attacked me. I mean, all of these things that people just throw on your plate. And sadly, some go along with it. And then at the end of the night, you can't sleep because you allowed too many distractions in. You lost focus. Therefore, the routine, the things that you needed to get done, now have to be added to the list tomorrow. And perhaps you're feeling stressed. So you can't even relax and get some sleep because you have been thrown so far off base. Number three, getting real with yourself as far as the restlessness that you are experiencing. And restlessness can be acute, like it may happen once a week, but when it becomes like a chronic thing, like 7 days a week, you're like this, or 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, you're restless, but then Saturday, you sleep all day, Sunday, you sleep all day, then this message is definitely for you. If it's just one time a week, or like I mentioned earlier about if you're in college, that's normal. Like that's the lifestyle. Losing sleep, trying to get that work done, trying to measure up, trying to get that degree. That's the culture of college life. But when you are an adult and you are experiencing this half of the month, 3/4 of the month, then that's a problem. And it's time that you really take out some time and analyze what's really going on. I gave you a few things. Maybe you can add a few more things to the list. Maybe you're dealing with something that I did not mention. But either way, it's time to get real with yourself. This is where I need your participation. You have to ask yourself and be fully aware and honest. Do I want to rest? Well, you say, Antoinette, of course I want to rest. Like that's a dumb question. Who gets to the end of their night and didn't want to get sleep? That's a good question. But remember when I said the ball is in your court and the deck of cards are in your hand? If you want to rest, then you have to bring your mind to that. You have to command your night. I'm not saying you have to make it happen or try to force yourself to sleep by taking sleeping pills or different things that you may see online that you can do to get rest. I'm not saying that, and I'm not bashing those measures. But I'm saying that you have to bring your mind to that. The same way that you get up daily and you bring your mind to, I got to get up and go to this job. The same way that you get up, I got to get up, I got to get myself together, clean up, get something to eat, and I got to be out of the house by a certain time so I can get to this job, make this money, make another day. The same way that you bring your mind to that, to get ready for the day, you have to bring your mind to getting some rest at night. Hey, I have to get some rest tonight. Tomorrow is a long day. I have a lot to get done. I don't have time to be wishy-washy where I can't think, experiencing brain fog, frustrated because aggravated because I'm not getting any sleep. So I need to rest. When you bring your mind to that, your body will come into connection with that. Start earlier. Instead of going to sleep at 11 o'clock, start bringing your mind to that earlier than that. Hey, it's just that serious for some people where when it's time to go to bed, like they're literally sitting up in the bed, can't sleep. Reading chapters out of a book, still can't sleep. Listening to music, can't sleep. Taking pills, some people still can't sleep with that. They are just that restless. It's time to take control over your life. Figure out what it is that's getting in the way of your mind shutting down and entering into a zone of peace. Again, command your night. I will get some sleep tonight. You have to tell yourself that I am going to rest tonight. Tomorrow is a big day and my sleep is important to me. You have to want to rest. Just like you want to eat, want to take a shower, want to get up and make another $1,000 today, you have to want to get some rest. Okay? That's all I have for tonight. Well, I can't say tonight because it's like I think like 1 a.m. But this has been Night Watch. Perhaps something that I said resonated with you. If you want to hear more about the spiritual depletion or any particular um, item that I mentioned on the list, DM me or drop it in the comments. But this is a real thing. Some people are up between the hours of 1 and 3 every night and don't understand why. In between 2 and 4 every night and don't understand why. It's something going on, and you have to tap into that. And I didn't even mention on this particular list about prayer and meditation. But those two are extremely important, prayer and meditation. But maybe tomorrow we can talk about the prayer and meditation aspect. And that's more so to once again bring yourself to unify with self. Because before you can even be aware of God, to ask God for anything, oh God, help me rest, help me to calm down so I can get some sleep. Before you can even be aware of God's presence, you have to calm down and be aware of self. Okay? You have to be honest that you are in like a weird zone. Like I said, if this is 3 to 5 days out the week or more, you have to be honest about where you are and get in unison with that. Like something has to change. And before you start prayer and meditation, you have to have a goal in mind because it's not just I need to get some sleep. Like I said, if this is going on all the time, it's not just I gotta get some sleep. No, you have to get to the root or the bottom of what's going on. Because if you have some underlying issues going on that's stressing you out, causing you a lot of uproar on the inside, you're not going to be able to get some sleep. Even if you, I was about to say something else, but I'm not going to go there. You have to get to the bottom of what's going on with you. That's why I named those things earlier. Once you know that, hey, I'm restless because I'm worried about money, now you know how to guide your prayer. Now you know what you need to meditate on. Now you know how to guide your mind and what you need to focus on in order to bring your mind to rest. If you are worried about your relationship, you can't sleep because you don't know what's going to happen with the relationship. So it's hard for you to sleep because you're upset about it. You're nervous. You just, for some people, like their relationship is their world. And I can't say I fault you for that because that's definitely big to me. But we have to learn how to balance. God is first. And I will be honest, sometimes you can actually idolize your love. You can idolize your spouse to the point to where you're not even trying to pray. You're not even trying to talk to God. You're just trying to make sure that your spouse is satisfied. You're trying to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure that you're okay, so that in turn that you're okay in a good place so that you can properly relate to your spouse. And when things are not good, when there are disagreements going on, when there's an elephant in the room, or perhaps a misunderstanding, and you guys haven't really got clarity on a particular subject, sometimes you might find yourself restless when you can't sleep at night. You're tired, of course, you're exhausted, and that can affect your spirit too now. Relationship matters. But you have to be honest about what's causing you the stress. Because you can go and pray and say, oh God, please let me get some sleep tonight. Oh, I got to go to work in the morning. But you need to be honest. You need to actually pray about their relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pray about what's bothering you. And perhaps once you do that, you'll be able to get some rest. You see, sometimes we're good at just just touching the top level. We're not interested in going underneath. You know what I mean? Going underneath. and pulling out what's really bothering us. It's reasons why you're restless. And just saying, well, Antoinette, I do my prayers every night and I'm still restless. That's probably the reason why. Are you praying about the issue that's really bothering you? Or have you been reluctant to praying? Because maybe you're scared to put certain things out there to God because you're so uncertain about it. Let me explain this. Let me explain that real quick before I let you go. Sometimes you may be reluctant to praying about certain things when you already feel uncertain about it. For instance, a relationship. If you're already uncertain about a relationship and you feel like it's not going to work, you may be reluctant to praying to God about saving it or helping you to save it because so much has happened. It's so much damage. If you guys do make it, you don't know how you're going to be able to get past certain things, if your spouse will ever be able to get past certain things. So you may be afraid to talk to God about that because of the way you may feel about it. But I urge you to go ahead and do that. Put those issues before God. You know, an associate of mine that told me once before. I was talking to this person about it, and I said, you know, this situation is just terrible. I don't know what else to do about this situation. And she said, well, you know what, Antoinette? That's a good place for God then, because that's what he specialized in. He specialized in handling the things that are too hard for us, that we don't know the answers to, that we don't know how to figure out. That's where God comes into place. That's a good time to pray. It sounds like you need to go ahead and kick on faith. And I was like, wow, I hadn't thought about it that way. And so yeah, I just thought was necessary for me to pass that on to you guys. If you don't know, if you don't know, pray about it. And I mean, I need you to unleash your frustrations, your doubts, your fears. Pray about those things and be honest. And hopefully, you'll start seeing some better results as far as at night in your sleep pattern. May the spirit of rest come down on you. May you have sweet dreams and wake up to a brand new day, fresh, fresh starts, full of new chances, new beginning. Let all the things from the past go. Can't do anything about the past because that's definitely something that may have some of you restless. You can't do anything about the past. Go ahead and make peace with it in whatever way that looks like to you. Make peace with it and go on with your life. It's a reason why you're still here. And you shouldn't spend the time that you have left worrying about the past, regretting the past, blaming others for the past, being pissed off and just hateful and full of resent because of the past. And I know that some yesterdays are terrible, horrific, hard to hear, hard to stomach, but we must move on because you're still here, you're still great, and the object is to win in life and not allow it to defeat you. This has been Night Watch. Until next time, you all take care.